Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We are on our quest for our definition of sensorality. We just discussed breaking down sensorality into sorality. We discussed the sexuality bias, as well as we discussed some other things that I forget, and it's on my paper over there. But now, getting more, again, just did some physics things, some thinking, and now we're just continuing on, same type of thing, with our derivation of sensorality. So let's jump back over to syllability. What is syllability? Well, let's start with what is a syllable. A syllable is a unit of sound. It is irreducible, it is discrete, that is, it is unique, and it is finite. We have a set amount of syllables we can form because we have a set amount of sounds that we can make. And so we have to iterate those sounds to create words with different meanings. But syllability is literally and logically consistently the ability to be a syllable. So what can be a syllable? Again, just anything, it is a unit of sound that contains the complete, what you need to connect the dots. But syllability represents and preserves pronunciation. So again, when we're speaking something, I'm looking at a word, it doesn't really matter what the letters are. It doesn't matter if it's, a C or an S or a PH or an F. It matters the sound that is preserved. And the letters can change, like rhythm, from algorithm to rhythm, the letters change, but the syllability is preserved. Letters indicate sounds. So I try to extend the letters are to words, what words are to sentences, right? Sounds are to letters, what letters are to words. Something like that. I don't know. Again, just working through the logic out loud. But sensorality with a C limits sensorality with an S. Last one we had reality limits sensorality, or reality limits speciality, but sensorality also limits the C limits the sensorality with an S, meaning again I can't fly because of my physical being, the structure of my body. Sensorality with a C has no sexuality. My table does not have any desire to reproduce. Again, just overhashing things we've already discussed. But a word has, what we've proven is that a word has a unique syllability, a unique sequence of sound, and it is iterated from a finite basis. So that is a fundamental proof, that statement, a word has unique syllability. Wanted to pull, I saw a relationship between legacy and legality. What is the relationship? What is legality, right? What is the empirical motivation for law, right? Legality establishes what is legal. Legal is what is appropriated to you by the law that is okay to do. The empirical motivation, again, is just common experience. We all experience the same things. Fundamentally, we have the same reaction times. So we just have the same experience, and we need a fair and even playing field for everyone involved. But bad is objective, good is subjective, and I just have kinda. Need versus want. Bad is objective. Again, the extremes of good and bad are obvious, but right, killing a kid because he likes anime is bad, and pretty much everyone can agree on that. And everyone that does agree on that could also turn around and say, liking anime doesn't make him good. So it's like there's way more definitive things that are bad, or people can agree on what is bad as opposed to what is good. Right? Liking anime as opposed to liking basketball, or liking basketball as opposed to soccer, or liking drawing as opposed to band, or liking band as opposed to cross country. There's no good or bad to that. It's just interest, personal choice. Whereas then there's a lot more definitive bad things. Not to say there's not definitive good things, like limiting the definitive bad things. All right, so that is there. But we need to discuss, because I keep saying sensorality with a C, another working definition is inanimacy. And so we have our very clear, our established existence, our base word is animacy, but nobody really uses that in conversation. Right? People say that person was very animated. Right? We use animation, animated, to say like lively or big personality. But animacy is not a form that we use a lot, but inanimate and inanimacy is. Kind of interesting, and just pointing out facts. So we assert existence to negate it. So animacy has to be real. Sensorality is an element of sensorality. Sensorality with a C is contained within sensorality with an S, therefore it is an element of sensorality with an S. Connecting attractivity, we use that. That was a big connecting, again, gravity in this logical concept, this word, sensorality. They're attractive. So we have attractivity, and then we can take that to affinity, which is a word that we already know, right? We have infinity, then we have affinity, an inclination or proclivity to be drawn to something. So attraction is affinic. But again, clearly we can connect, you can see the logical and linguistical consistency of infinity and affinity. Sounds are to syllables what syllables are to words. I just removed sentence, again breaking it down from a letter is to a word what a word is to a sentence, to sounds are to syllables what syllables are to words. I tried to say that earlier, I messed it up or just skipped past it. But again, we have our working definition of what, like literally what defined as base, B-A-S-E, right? Basis, base. So what is B-A-S-E? So sounds, base syllables, syllables, base words. Nobody can debate that. That's kind of where we're at logically. Forget everything else we said up till now. That's what we want to stay at. Sounds, base, syllables, syllables, base, sound. And sensorality differentiates sound from syllable. There's a clear difference of when I'm talking about a subject as opposed to when I'm making an expressive vocalization. Ah, ee, hew, ha ha ha, ouch, grr, rough, woo. Right, those are vocalizations. I made sounds. Those weren't syllables. Right, but when I'm talking to you and constructing formal sentences and then transmitting meaning, syllability preserves meaning. And so that's what sensorality differentiates sound from syllable. All syllables are sounds, not all sounds are syllables. Syllables have structure, that is grammar. And I'm going to finish with something totally random. What is a sandwich? Here's homework. I have not assigned any homework whatsoever. But what is a sandwich? And this just popped up because it's a clear word and clear object of everybody knows what it is. But look at the word, sand and witch. Sand is a complete word. Witch is not a complete word in that, W-I-C-H. Witch, W-H-I-C-H in English is a word. Kind of strikes me as German, like Sandwich. But just the point is like, where did this come from? Like, where did this come from? The etymology kind of just struck me as fun. I was going to look it up, but I just wanted to end on something random. That word just really struck me. When I'm in the zone driving, these words are just breaking down, and then you come over with something like sandwich. Just like, the fuck is that shit? Alright, thank you for watching. That is it for today, and I'll see you on the next ones.